Greetings and salutations, YouTube. Today, we are coming to you from Puerto Montt, Chile, on a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. All right, so this beautiful sunny morning finds us here in Puerto Mott, Chile, and it is a beautiful morning, and it is a beautiful, beautiful setting. I mean, look at this. This is amazing. The bay here is lovely, and there is an enormous mountain behind me. Kind of the backdrop to the city reminds me a bit of Mount Rainier in Seattle, and I believe it actually is a volcano as well. And it is a snow-capped peak right at the moment as we're just entering the summer season down here, so it still is completely covered in snow up there. It's very, very picturesque. And this area here is a sort of long concrete walkway that runs along the waterfront all the way down to the center of town, which is over here behind me, where you can see actually our boat moored over here in the harbor as well too. Somewhere back there. There it is, right over there. We just got dropped off by a tender. The boat had to moor in the harbor and had to be shuttled over via the lifeboats. But it wasn't a particularly long ride. It only took about, I'd say probably less than 10 minutes, or maybe right around 10 minutes. The walk into town, they told us, is about 20 minutes. But it's a very pleasant walk because there's a lovely park here that runs along the waterfront just next to this walkway here. A bunch of facilities for kids and things like that right over there. So we're going to make our way down there and see what there is to see here in Puerto Mott. It is still quite early. It's only about 9:30 in the morning, so I'm sure that the town will be just waking up and people will be just opening the businesses and whatnot. But hopefully we can find some things that are interesting. We had considered taking a tour up to the volcanoes and whatnot, but because of Hope's problems with motion sickness and not really knowing whether or not the ride would be too rough for her, we decided against it. So we'll probably stay in town this morning. Now, there is a possibility that later I might go up by myself, and if that's the case, I will bring you some video from up there. But for right now, we're going to satisfy ourselves with a tour around the city here. This area was founded by a lot of German immigrants, or a large number of German immigrants. So there's a big German influence in the town. Also, Puerto Mott is known as being one of the world's largest exporters of salmon. So maybe we'll have a chance to try some salmon while we're here. I love salmon. It's probably my favorite thing to eat. So that doesn't sound like a bad idea either. Right now we're going to wander down to the city center and see what Puerto Mott has to offer down there. I still probably have another half mile or so to go. And even though it's cool outside, the sun is pretty bright out here. So I may end up having to shed my cool Canon hoodie For those of you who know, well, you know. For the rest of you, I suppose you could look it up. I had debated about taking my sunglasses today, but man, am I glad that I did, because the sun is very, very bright. I was thinking that I'd end up just hanging them from my collar and not using them, but that is not the case at all. I feel like I'm going to be using them all day long down here with the intensity of the sun. It may still be a little bit early, but we seem to have run across a small art fair down here in the middle of the city, starting to open up and put out some of their wares. Got some tents all set up in this little public park that is in this sort of center of town, just off of the Shoreside Park. The end of the arts fair and the end of this small public park finds us in the middle of Puerto Mott. This is the geographic center of town, it appears, and where most of the commerce goes on. I have to go down some of these side streets to do a little bit of investigating to see what we can find as far as points of interest. My first trip to South America has seen me now in 2 shopping malls, which is kind of funny considering I probably haven't been in 2 shopping malls in the States in 2 years. But, this particular shopping mall is about 5 times the size of the one that was in Coquimbo. And while it does have an H&M as a large anchor store on the opposite end, most of these other stores that are here in the center are not familiar to me at all. This particular place is called Ripley's. And we figured we would just come in to check out what was inside here as far as shops and stores, simply because of the sheer size of this place. Again, the city itself is not particularly large, but this mall is massive. Actually spans what looks like a couple of city blocks, stretching from the waterfront down towards the park at the end of town. One thing I have not been able to figure out yet is the exchange rate here. So we asked some people back in the mall, and we got 3 different answers from 3 different people in regards to what the actual exchange rate was. Because what I was trying to determine was, how expensive is it here? Is it comparable to the States? Is it cheaper than the States? But I wasn't able to get a straight answer, and of course my internet service has been so in and out but I haven't been able to check on the internet either to see what the exchange rate is. But I did make a note of some of the prices in the mall of different items, and so when I get back I will double check and I will let you guys know what the cost is here as far as daily living and the goods and services, as well as what it costs to eat out and things like that, as soon as I get an answer. Luckily, everything here in town is within walking distance, and we haven't had a problem where that's concerned. There's also plenty of buses and taxis. But if you'll notice on this street behind me, for such a small city, this place has some serious traffic congestion. Ever since we've arrived, the main roads running through town have been slammed full of cars. And it seems to be that way pretty much from the waterfront all the way up to the mountains. Now, it may be because there's limited roads to travel on. There seems to be basically 3. The one running along the water, the one here in the central part of the city, and then the one that's running along the base of the mountains. But everybody seems to be out and about right now, and the roads are just a jumble of traffic everywhere we go. Luckily, it makes crossing the street really easy because these cars aren't going anywhere, so we can just simply walk in between them. But it is just sort of a funny thing considering that the city isn't all that large. I guess there's no place you can go on Earth that you can escape from traffic these days. So Puerto Montt has an interesting combination of factors that make it kind of different than any place I've been before. And the thing that strikes me about it is there's a lot of tall buildings here, and there's also a lot of houses lining the hills up above. But the tall buildings make it seem like a larger city. But the truth is that it's really not. This is not a particularly large city. So it has both the qualities of a smaller town and a large city in a sort of compact area here along the waterfront. And it just gives it a really different feel than a lot of the places that we've been so far. It's almost like someone built a big city right in the middle of a small town, if that makes any sense. It has that kind of a feel to it. And it makes it kind of interesting. And this is a perfect example of it right here. I'm going to swing the camera around so you can see this. Here you have some buildings that look like older wooden home structures. There's quite a few of them over here across the street. And then, of course, up above, you'll notice these much taller high-rise style buildings, including the one that I am standing under right here. So, like I said, it's as if someone built a larger city right in the middle of a small town or a small seaside community. And it gives it a decidedly different feel than you get in most cities. The downtown park here along the waterfront has a skate park for the kids. Over there has a pier in the center, and down here at this end it also has a really nice basketball, volleyball, and sort of small soccer court as well. All of it really well kept, all very nice, right in the center of town, and a nice location for people to come out and enjoy. And it appears that they are doing just that here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. It goes without saying that Puerto Montt is a much larger and much more developed city than Coquimbo, La Serena was. But the one thing that kind of surprises me is that they haven't developed this waterfront area more. The market and the fish market, the local market, and the restaurants that were available there in Coquimbo along the waterfront were much nicer than what seems to be available here in Puerto Montt. Chile has been an absolutely pleasant surprise. I've thoroughly enjoyed our time here. We have one more stop in Chile. Well, we actually have two stops here. We're actually going to go to the glacier, but we won't be stopping there. We'll be just driving by or floating by, boating by the glacier, but not making any stops. But then we have one more stop in Punta Arenas, which is actually the largest southern city in the world and is in the Chilean Antarctic zone. We'll be stopping there in about 3 days, so I'll be kind of excited to see what that's like. And but beyond that, I mean, just Chile in general has just been really, really wonderful. It's a great country with some great people and some wonderful scenery, some nice malls, and some beautiful weather. We've just really had wonderful weather of late. It's been nice and cool. The sun has been shining, and there is a beautiful, crisp breeze off the ocean right now. And none of that stinky seaweed fishy smell either. So until next time, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and any questions or comments, feel free to put those down below. And we will see you next time.